just doing the old headphone test, and we're recording.
Speaking of headphones, I was watching this documentary about Pink Floyd called The Curious Case of Pink Floyd or some shit like that.
The Curious Case of Roger Waters and David Gilmour.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime exclusive.
The Man in the Iron Mask or something. I don't know. But
Man in the High Castle?
Yeah, sure.
We're on the bubblies here, by the way, everyone. We're on the sparkling waters.
I already cracked.
It's a more of a kind of slower affair.
Mm-hmm. But I noticed Roger Waters wears headphones on stage.
Oh, like Mayer.
Since like we're talking Animals tour.
Wow.
Yeah. Like pretty much every shot I saw for like the kind of latter part of the 70s.
Interesting.
So, so kind of looked pretty cool on him too a little bit. But the Floyd's more of like a kind of techie, they need that precision sound, especially when you got all those kind of pyrotechnics.
There's a lot of that going on.
There's a lot going on stage,
Yeah.
Whereas with the Dead and Co., I assume it's just about the music mostly.
I think, Mayer just said it so he can feel more immersed in the music.
Yeah.
We've kind of talked about it. It's kind of a surround sound thing, I think. Like a Dolby.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
That's probably what they were trying to achieve with that wall of sound setup in the 70s we talked to Dan Horn about. It's like just trying to hear everything a little better.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot going on.
They didn't think to just kind of maybe strap on some headphones.
Maybe that's it with the Grateful Dead in general. It's like they're just trying to figure out what they're even doing up there. Because it's a lot of different modes.
I think they're just all kind of soloing at the same time, but it just always works. Sounds great. If any band I ever played in soloed all at the same time,
I'd have an aneurysm.
You'd see people running for the exits.
Yeah, I went to a jazz show a couple of weeks ago.
Jazz, yeah, same kind of.
And I was just thinking this was just in basically a hotel lobby in Vancouver. It's hardly Beale Street, you know what I mean? And the guys up there are it's a little loungy at times.
What are we talking? Trio, quartet, quintet?
There was a four-piece. It was piano, sax.
Yeah. Tenor?
Sax lead, yeah. Double bass, stand-up double bass. He played hard, though. You could, you could hear it.
Yeah.
And drums.
Yeah.
And, I was just watching it thinking, it's, regardless of what I think about this, they've not played a wrong note yet. They've been playing for about an hour. And
kind of standards or any originals?
Some originals, just nice stuff.
This one's called Give My Regards to Beale Street.
It was that kind of thing. Yeah. And I was thinking it also, the sheer effort to play non-blues is just astonishing.
Well, it's easy if you play jazz to play non-blues.
Okay.
That's the opposite to the Luke theory. It's only if you play rock and roll
that it's hard.
How hard it is to play non-blues, because then you have to write melodies and things and come up with stuff. But if you play jazz, playing non-blues is pretty easy.
Can you even play? I was genuinely thinking this when I was at the show. I was like, is there a wrong note?
Yes.
I think I'd be able to play a lot of wrong notes. But it feels like sometimes they do kind of play a passing bum note because it's jazz, and the context of jazz, you're kind of far out.
I guess it depends what you mean. If you're
some of those
if you're in the pocket, and you're in the right time signature, and you're you're bouncing around the right key, I think there's a lot of forgiving stuff that can happen. But you got to be
some Pharoah Sanders records I've heard where I'm pretty sure he's playing a whole different.
Well, that's
tune.
out there. That's out there.
Yeah.
That's free jazz, right? So it's but I mean, you're talking the hotel lobbies kind of Frankie's scene. I think you might notice if somebody kind of blew it.
We should go there, man. It was pretty fun.
I heard you. Didn't you text me that night and tell me that you overheard somebody at a table near you telling his girlfriend, a lot of jazz actually comes from blues.
Yeah, it cracked me up. I was kind of a few deep, just really kind of I was in the pocket, just a different pocket. I was kind of in Impossible Way of Life pocket,
It's easy to get into that
when
you're in a jazz.
Yeah.
Plus, they never even shut down for COVID down there, did they?
No, I mean, it's like it's spiritual music. It'll cleanse you.
It's like church.
Yeah.
Which you were allowed gatherings, spiritual gatherings.
My church.
Right. And so it's like, doesn't matter, 50 people packed into a little hotel lobby jazz club for the past year. It's just been going on.
You can get like some arancini balls. They kind of had some like, Italian style kind of pincho food there.
That's good.
The plating was weird though. It kind of still felt hotel lobby-ish. That's the problem with just North America.
Explain.
West Coast North America.
Explain.
Well,
what kind of plating?
Just like it wasn't rustic enough. It comes out like they've tried to make this like kind of Italian style like menu, and the stuff just comes out like looking like you're being served at an airport. On a white plate with, those the cutlery's all kind of wrong, and you get a napkin, and just kind of did it all wrong.
Well, but you're there for the music, aren't you?
I think you're there for everything. Yeah. When
What'd
you
you
go
have
to Frankie's.
Drink? First drink you ordered like something cool, right? At a jazz club?
No, I had
dry martini.
No, Fat Tug was on special, so I was like, I'm just gonna get tugged up here.
I see. Yeah.
And for people,
you're a beer guy first and foremost. So.
I got to stop though, man. I got to cool it off on the beer. I'm running half marathons every second day here to try and kind of offset the carb loads.
Yeah, the beer gets you sometimes.
Actually, I was thinking about you yesterday. I spoke to Mike Noble as well about this. I went on a run yesterday. Found a great route, and it's a solid 10. It kind of clocked in at the end. It clocked in at about 12, but you could make it 10. And it's all the way up the obvious Greenway, but you don't actually go up the Greenway. You kind of just got to get up to like 37th, which is Midtown Ridgeway, the bike route.
Oh, yeah.
Go west, and it's deceptive because you don't realize how high you've climbed. It doesn't feel like you have. And I even looked at it topographically, and weirdly, you don't really go up a hill.
Yeah.
But you end up on like Ridgeway at like Quesnel Street.
I know exactly where that is.
And then the view of the city.
No, I know it. I know that road.
Yeah. And then you just run all the way down Quesnel till it hits Balaclava and down. And then back across 10th and you're home.
That's a bit of a hill though, right where that view is. So I don't mind
coming down it. Down's fine.
Yeah.
There's no hill. So I was thinking,
I told you
should come with me and we should do it together.
Sure, let's do it. But I didn't actually tell you or our listeners that I had that big race with my friend Andy.
You haven't talked about it.
I didn't mention that I beat him.
In all competitions?
No, we didn't end up doing anything else except the run.
Well, you know that hill.
But it was intense. It was like we were in step. He boosted his pace up a lot for the first like 5-6K.
He went out quick.
He went out hot, and I was a bit like, he's been training, And then he did this kind of thing where he kind of heading up to the final hill. It's basically a sprint of the hill. He kind of he knew if I got ahead that I'd sort of boost up, and he kind of cut me off.
Okay.
And I just thought to myself,
tactics.
Yeah. And then there's like a sort of a little trail you got to run up, and it's a single lane. So I was like, if I don't get ahead of him there, I might be. But so I had like a little window, and I just kind of almost like a F1 kind of.
Yeah.
And I just upped a gear and just passed him, and
kicked on,
took it up the hill and got him.
That's huge.
It was big.
Welcome to Impossible Way of Life, a running podcast.
But I know he's fired up. He's angry.
Yeah, he's listening.
He's telling me he's listening
right
now. Yeah, and he told me he's back in New York now, and he said
training.
He's going to change his route completely based on this to always end on a hill on a sprint.
Yeah, that seems.
He's like that's what's happening. Like every time.
Seems like the only way to do it. I mean, it certainly feels like really important that he.
Yeah.
He kind of
100%. Yeah. So, but anyway, that sounds lovely. We could run up that. We could run up there and, maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think. There's probably some nice little place over there. We could get some tapas and.
Well, if you kind of kept going further to Dunbar, you could go like Bells and Whistles.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. That kind of Alma area. There's a few kind of funny bars around there.
Yeah, but that wouldn't. I don't
up
do
to
that
Dunbar. I see.
halfway.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
I think that it's my route, man. Let me just show you my route.
Go all the way to UBC. Just kind of check out the kind of collegiate crowd. Pass out some flyers for our podcast. You know.
There is a great. Did you ever used to flyer? We used to do it in England. Like we had DJ night, like in Manchester, called the Revolver. And
yeah,
we used to get paid by the venue to flyer it around college, around the campus.
Yeah,
we used to play a lot of kind of Motown, old rock and roll. It was a great night.
There were flyers around.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Pre
Internet.
Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, Roger Waters has a real problem with Instagram.
What? Really?
Several different problems with it.
What does he not have a problem with on this planet?
That's true. Like he's a very angry man.
Yeah.
Who took 20 years.
Welcome, my son,
to the machine. Who had.
Dave, sing it more demented, more psychotic. Welcome. Can you scream it more?
Is it Dave singing that one?
The high part.
Oh, yeah. You know that song. There was a song a few years ago that was massive, like "Take Me to Church," with the It was a pop song about like maybe being gay and going to church or something. Mm-hmm. The guy was maybe Irish, I don't know, but anyway, it was a really big pop song, and it had. I couldn't not hear it. It was always on the radio, and it had this thing before it went to the chorus. It went do 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 do, and every time I heard it, I just went welcome to my brain, just because it's the same. It was the same like
yeah.
So
nice.
That's just where my brain went. So Welcome to the Machine has a little kind of pocket of my brain that it'll always live.
Big
in.
tune,
Huge tune. I'm not sure about that one.
Huge album. I think it was bigger than Dark Side of the Moon or something at the time. Wish You Were Here.
Yeah, it's really good.
But didn't have the lasting power of Dark Side.
No.
Nothing did.
We got some... if you probably couldn't hear that honk there, but where I live in the city, there's a bike route and a roundabout. And no one understands how roundabouts work in North America. So it's just carnage out there all day. Because cyclists trying to like hit cars trying to hit cyclists on purpose.
I'll take it one further. Today I was riding to the bank on my bike. And I noticed like, you know, the people are in the powered wheelchairs.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy was going down like the wrong side of the road, like on the bike path, straight at me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, like, you know, I'll give him the right of way.
Yeah.
So I go left to go around him, and last minute he pulls an audible and just hard turns into me, and I was booking on my bike.
Yeah.
Screeched on my bike, like, stop. And he was just like, you motherfucking jackass. Don't you think I have to avoid these potholes around here? Watch where you're fucking going. I was like, whoa, dude.
Was he a fat bastard?
He was just motoring. You know what? Those people that are in those things, they go so fast. And there's a lady who goes down Broadway sometimes on the sidewalk, and she just like, there's no pedestrian. Like, they don't exist. It's just... No. Seems like a Larry David kind of thing.
I have a real problem.
I know you're in the chair. I feel bad for that.
I have a real problem with the people in the chair.
Yeah.
The motorized chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to jump out of the way. But this one, like, I literally almost hit the guy. He called me a jackass.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I was trying to do the right thing.
Legs.
I was trying to. Yeah. I was just trying to do the right thing.
It's kind of giving up on life.
Give him a wide berth. That's what I was trying to do.
It's kind of a giving up on life thing, getting in one of those chairs.
Yeah.
It's like getting a nice mattress.
Well, he might need to be in it. I don't know.
So he can eat more?
Well, or he's you know.
I think the mobility
paralyzed
scooter people.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't. I'm not too sure what kind of. I didn't get a good look at it, but.
No.
Anyway, it was. He really did it was like a 180 across the.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
So Roger Waters has a real problem with Instagram. Mm-hmm. And I saw this really... Well, he has a problem with the way in which the big tech companies are dictating the narrative, particularly around things like Julian Assange, the pro-Palestinian kind of anti. I suppose he would say it's not anti-Israel, but like the blockade.
He's a bit of an anti-Semite, isn't he?
Well, I think he thinks he isn't, and he's pro-Palestinian, and he's kind of critical of Israel, but sometimes he kind of accidentally goes into sort of anti-Semitic tropes.
Sure.
Or he would say accidentally, but,
Yeah.
He's apologized quite recently, actually, on his David Gilmour website. So one of the reasons he's got... on the Roger Waters website. So one of the reasons he's got a problem with...
It'd be funny if he apologized on the David Gilmour
website... Well, that's
website.
another reason that he's got a problem with Instagram.
Okay.
He feels personally aggrieved that he doesn't have access to Pink Floyd's Instagram. He's really pissed about it. He's like, for example, during COVID, he did a new version of Mother, like because all these guys
reinvented.
Yeah, he re-recorded Mother.
Okay.
Like on Zoom.
Sure. Like his buddy Eric Clapton.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking more like Gilmour and Clapton are kind of on the same team.
Well, no, Clapton toured with Waters right when the band broke up. I was just watching about this.
Playing Gilmour's parts?
Until Clapton was getting more media attention than Waters, and Waters canned him from the band.
Interesting.
I've never heard the word megalomaniac used more in a rock documentary than this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Well, yeah, so like... Roger Waters is pissed that he can't access the like 300 million Pink Floyd followers to like promote anything Roger Waters, because Gilmour's got the keys.
Wow.
He doesn't know the password, presumably.
Probably, that's what I was going to say, is probably like Gilmour lost the password.
No, I think Gilmour knows the password.
Maybe nobody knows. Like, we don't know the one to ours.
No, we definitely don't know the one to ours.
So imagine if I quit iWall and then later I was like trying to promote. It got huge and you had all the announcers to promote my album.
And you were like...
You'd be like, I don't know the password.
I'm not logging out, dude.
Yeah.
Because... No, if that ever happened, I'd let you share it using my phone.
That's very sweet of you.
But
that's presuming we don't have like a Waters Gilmour kind of blowout over like publishing rights.
I know. The problem with that is I'd have to be Waters in that, because you're so placid and kind of cool and like calm that if we had to do it, I'd have to be him.
Also, I would say you're more the Waters in this kind of podcast, just a little bit more of the like
the lyricist.
I consider myself a bit
writer?
More of the sideman, sort of accentuating
the music, like Gilbert and Sullivan,
sort of like you've kind of got the vision. I feel like we sort of did from the beginning, but then I'm here to sort of color it with the sort of musicality and things to yours. So in that way,
I'm also a bit of a cunt as well.
If you say so.
But
also,
so he's pissed that he can't. He really goes off on it, because he's like, even David Gilmour's wife, Polly, promotes her novels on the Pink Floyd.
Oh, he won't like that.
No, well, she writes all the lyrics, right?
For Gilmour stuff?
For Pink Floyd.
Oh.
When Roger Waters left the band in the 80s, because he was like, and he, I suppose...
Wait, this is Waters' ex-wife?
No, it's Gilmour's current wife.
Okay.
Gilmour's current wife, Polly Sampson, uses the Pink Floyd platform to promote her novels, but she also writes all the Pink Floyd lyrics, because David Gilmour doesn't write songs. So when Roger Waters...
The current lyric. I see what you're saying.
So when Roger Waters left the band, which it was a bit of a cocky move, thinking that they'd quit, because they couldn't do it without him, which is kind of true, but they just were like, fuck it, we'll just continue. He just got his wife to just replaced him with his wife. I was like, can you just write the lyrics? She was a poet. And so she's been writing. She wrote everything on Division Bell. Yeah. And, also like, so for example, with like...
Not familiar with too many of those songs.
Yeah.
What's the big one off that album?
Oh, it's that. I don't know, man. I know it's got it. I know the riff. But, it's mostly music, isn't it?
I was more listening to kind of Final Cut at that time, the one about
Hitler
and Margaret Trudeau and Napoleon all hanging out.
What's Margaret Trudeau in it for? Take us.
Or Margaret Trudeau.
She's all right. Thatcher, you mean?
Yeah, Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
Margaret Trudeau.
I mean, partial
She
lineage.
could have potentially been involved. He mentions pretty much every politician on earth on that album, so he may have had a beef with the Trudeaus. Same era, right?
Well, yeah, but she was friends with the Stones.
Yeah, I know. I think they were cool.
She was cool.
To the rocker crowd.
Oh, she was fucking Mick, wasn't she? Or Keith. And she got him out of jail.
That's right. Margaret Trudeau.
Yeah. Maggie, Justin's mom.
That's right.
Yeah.
And his dad, because that's what they're saying, that Justin's dad is actually... Oh, that's Castro. They're saying Fidel Castro's his dad, because she also had a photo
Oh, yeah,
with Castro.
Fidel's his dad. That's the kind of QAnon.
Crazy...
Yeah.
There's a crazy thing.
How does your family feel about
that? It's hilarious.
Yeah.
There's a dossier similar to the one we were sent about John Lennon still being alive,
Which is true.
which is
presumably.
basically just it's like a demented 50-page thing analyzing like facial features and stuff like that. Like that's the proof. But I think that Justin looks a lot like his dad. So Pierre, I mean,
doesn't really look like Fidel.
no.
But
They like base it on like his eyebrows or something.
just because he has like black brown
Bushy
hair,
eyebrows
or something.
yeah.
But so Waters, there's this great clip on his Twitter where he's like just the angriest man, and he's like at this forum. It's like a free Julian Assange kind of style forum debate, but before it starts, he's like, before I start talking here, he just takes over. There's loads of other people at this, probably who are, equally, if not more qualified to talk about it. And he's like, I just want to tell you, and no one's seen it yet because I just got this email. And he's like, that fucking prick Zuckerberg just emailed me. And he's like, basically, and it is kind of, it's funny because I have a lot of respect for his kind of like fighting the good fight energy, because he's saying, he's like, it's pretty amazing. He's like, Instagram, which he's already got beef with because he's locked out of his account.
Yeah.
He's like, and he hates the fact that they they control, like Zuckerberg owns both, right? So Facebook won't let anyone write about Julian Assange. Like they'd like keep it out of the media. Mm-hmm. So he's like, and Zuckerberg has the like cheek, he thinks it's a personal thing, to like email me asking, like offering me like an absurd sum of money to use the wall, like part 2 in an Instagram commercial. And it's like, you think this is like kind of like Dr. Evil shit. It's like he sent photos of like, young designers doing stuff and like saying, we still think the message from The Wall Part 2 is really current and important. Probably also just being like, and here's 200 million, like I can buy you,
Yeah.
And Roger Waters is like, and you know what I said? I told him to fuck off. He's like, he was like, and this is a massive amount of money, but I am not contributing. I have a little bit of power. And as someone who has a tiny bit of power, I have to use it against these people. They cannot buy me. And you see his like aneurysm. It's like his brain is, because, but so respect. I mean, I don't know.
For sure.
I don't know what the price is for me to, the price for my integrity, but it's probably like $50.
Yeah.
I don't know. Certainly not like 200 million.
Some beers or something.
A couple of beers, yeah.
I know. Watching this documentary, The Curious Case of Waters versus
Benjamin
Gilmour
Button,
or whatever. He likes to call people little pricks and stuff like that a lot.
Yeah, he does.
When he's talking about a review of Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, like, how the reviewers said that it was anti-school and it was, obnoxious because he was sending a bad message. And he said, I just thought, you little prick, do your research.
Yeah.
Because it was actually an anti-bad school song.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely like...
He's got a lot of pain.
Yeah.
He's angry.
Yeah. He seems like he sorted a lot of it out. It's just it sort of comes back it pops up in different things. He doesn't seem that mad at Gilmour, but he does.
Well, he's been through a lot of psychotherapy.
20 years.
Yeah. He says he's past the point of even discussing this stuff because he's so beyond it now.
He's still discussing it, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I mean,
for instance, the issue of the fact that, which I do kind of agree with. It's really funny to me because these guys, this documentary, I guess it's from the 80s or 90s or no, can't be. But the footage is.
Yeah.
Of them being interviewed. And Richard writes constantly like, I didn't have any material to bring to the wall, to bring to the album. And at this point, but at the same time, I didn't feel encouraged by Roger to bring it. And like Gilmour kind of says the same thing, that
Weird.
like he was trying to become the only songwriter in the band. And Waters is like, he's like, it's just stupid. He's like, of course I wanted them to write. Like I always want everybody to write. And I kind of believe him on that. And like, that seems like a good excuse if you can't write any good songs, to just be like, you know what? We didn't really feel supported.
Yeah. I mean, especially at that point in your career when you're like that massive, I don't know. I think you'd be like, come on, pull your finger out, man. Like,
well, they just probably weren't like quickly coming up with new ideas. They're a bit bloated.
Well, and he has his rock operas that he writes.
And that's where he turns to like the Lifehouse phase of his career.
Yeah, it's weird.
And there's sort of like punks happening, like Waters or Gilmour and Wright are sort of like not too sure like where we go from like Animals.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, we're going to go to this, like I've written a 50-page script about this
Another
boy
dossier.
named Pink.
Yeah.
And like, who's like a musician, who's me, wink, wink.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. And then like Bob Ezrin writes a treatment for it.
Yeah.
And they like, they come up with like the stage show first where they're going to build the wall on stage to separate him from the audience who he's antagonized by. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then Gilmour, they're talking about, and then it's like cuts to like David Gilmour being like, he's like, when someone says, we want to build a wall on the stage between where you're playing and where the audience are, first you think it's a bit strange, but, that's what we did. It's like that kind of stuff.
He was right though, wasn't he? It was dead good.
It's great.
Yeah. That's the thing about Roger Waters. It's like those, he's like those athletes who play on the edge, it's like Luis Suarez, who was always biting people, but it's like he probably needs to be at that angry point to be a yard quicker than people. Mm-hmm. But one of the beautiful things though about their kind of, we'll get into maybe in a bit, like the fire and ice of Gilmour and Waters is,
we need to figure this out once and for all.
They're both shit with out each other, aren't they?
I think so.
So it's like it works. That tension seems to work. It might be a reductive way of putting it, together. But even like, so like, I guess like the last big beef they had, other than the Instagram like password, was like there's a whole like, and I'm glad they're still kind of doing. It means we don't have to mine for content too hard, where it's like they're just doing all the same stuff. Like there's a remix of Animals been done. They already remixed everything. They didn't do Animals actually. They did
Dark Side.
Wish You Were Here, Dark Side, and The Wall.
That was, in remix years, like dog years, that was like 100 years ago. If it was 2014 or something, considering
cool.
the technology they have now,
2011 12.
Are you kidding me? That's the dark ages, man. Considering the technology they have now, it needs to be done again.
Well, they're only in 5.1 surround.
What?
Yeah,
that's laughable to me.
Yeah. And there's a best of Pink Floyd, which was released as a Best Buy exclusive compilation too. Things have changed.
Best Buy still even in business?
I don't even know.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Apple. That's all that matters.
I would look at this shit. This is crazy, actually. So, like, the last time everything...
Best Buy exclusive? That's pretty eyewall.
It's all fucking eyewall, man.
Like...
They didn't do Animals.
Talk about selling your integrity.
Yeah.
That's where it's getting...
Well, I don't think he has the keys.
Oh, I see.
He's locked out.
Because he lost the court case for the rights to the name. The court said that Gilmour, Wright, and Mason were more Pink Floyd than Roger Waters.
It is a bit of a CCR style thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that... Yeah, you're right. Like, these remixes, they were called the immersive editions. Immersion editions. So, like, Dark Side, there's like, fucking... Look at this. This is the last time Dark Side was remixed. is a like a 6 CD. It's all sorts going on. A video, there's a 36 page.
Update it. That's ancient.
Well, it's not. Well, so I think they were doing it with animals, and apparently it's already been remixed. And there's this video of Roger Waters talking about it on his internet page, because he has to have his own one, and he kind of journals on it too. It's kind of interesting. But he's like, it's been shelved for 2 years. It's been in a box. It's finished. And he said, and the reason that you can't all hear it is because he said the mixes have languished unreleased because of a dispute between me and David Gilmour about some sleeve notes. So basically, like, he got this journalist, Mark Blake, to write kind of the sleeve notes, because I think, like, Roger Waters he's trying to claw back, like, because he thinks, and I think it's probably fair enough, that, like, Gilmour is, like, slowly over time trying to take credit for more than he actually did in the band.
Sure.
So, like,
like someone else we know.
Yeah.
Which I'll get to later.
Yeah. So, like, he says, for example, David... So I got this... He's obviously got this guy to write sleeve notes, which details, like, the making of the songs. And he says, now, although David doesn't dispute the veracity of the history that's been described in Mark's notes, he'd prefer it to remain secret. So, but he uses words like, I want us to remain enigmatic, kind of a mystery, like, so he doesn't want anyone to know, but then we'll, like, go on, like, the record with none other than David Frick and say, like, oh, I came up with the loop at the start of Money. And then Roger Waters is like, you fucking didn't. And he said the same thing. That prick Frick,
Wow.
He goes at Frick about it. And he says he has no fucking idea what he's talking about. Why? Because unless he was hiding under the fucking chair, David was not there when I made that tape loop for Money in the studio and shared it with my wife, Judy, at the bottom of our garden at 187 New North Road, Islington, next to the North Pole pub, where I used to play darts. The full story of what really happened is in my memoirs. So he's saying Gilmour's slowly taking, like, oh, I actually, it's kind of like the McCartney move, the classic McCartney move of, like, his end game is, I wrote Imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
didn't he actually say quite recently that John had played Imagine to him and he suggested a couple of changes or something?
That's Come Together.
Oh, yeah.
Which he wrote.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he wrote that now. Like, John just brought in the Chuck Berry song.
Yes.
And then Paul turned it into...
Yeah.
Anyway, but there's a lot of discussion that I was on this documentary and that I've seen online about the kind of Waters Gilmour, McCartney Lennon thing,
kind of
like they're
tete-a-tete.
Yeah, that they're kind of the similarities between like the melodic side of it and the dark, edgy side of it, and like how they complement each other and then go out. But they were talking about, I thought it was a really good example, like how Gilmour, even though on the final cut, he thought...
Can you explain again what the final cut is exactly? For those who don't know.
The final cut is the album that came out after The Wall. I guess Richard Wright quit the group because he thought that it was all getting...
Demented.
That Waters' megalomania was going through the roof.
Yeah.
And he was trying to just take over everything. And then Gilmour stuck around but did not care for the material on the album, which is a heavily political album on the documentary I watched, described as an attack on every politician on earth, basically saying that they should all be rounded up and put into like a cellar and eliminated.
Nice.
And
true,
that they're all warmongering.
Yeah.
The politics are not subtle at all on it. And the music and the video content created, from what I've seen, is psychotic. Like it's like a video of Hitler sort of showing up
someone
at his house,
dressed as Hitler,
an actor
seeing himself in a mirror.
Yeah, and then Napoleon like riding like a rocking horse.
Right. And Thatcher's involved. Right?
Yeah, she's kind of, well, she'd just been elected, so he
Yeah.
was really taking her on. But anyway, but even though Gilmour didn't care for the music, he stuck around and like played on the record, sang the single, sang it.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how the similarities between like him and Paul McCartney, that like the Ballad of John and Yoko, the John Lennon song, John was like, "Hey Paul, like, will you help me out with this?" And Paul was like, "Sure, I'll do it." But if you think of the flip side, there's no fucking way that John Lennon would have done it for Paul.
Right.
Or Waters would have done it for Gilmour.
Sure.
If he's like, "Hey man, like I got this tune or like this thing, will you come and help me out?" Johnny'd be like, "No, I don't think so.
No.
I'm more into like this other shit.
I'm more into like my own shit."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so, credit to, I mean, obviously I think while the Floyd fans listening might get a little bit upset about this, but I think to compare Gilmour to McCartney is a bit much, only because he didn't write as much material. Like I think McCartney and Lennon are a little bit more equal as far as
writing goes.
Maybe not contribution to the band and like production and stuff, but like maybe minds of the group or something. See, I don't know, because
it's tough because Gilmour's like, to me, is probably like where all the trippiness comes from. I know that sounds weird, because
listenability.
Well, yeah, but like the psychedelic, like kind of the smoother psychedelic listenability.
And like, I guess I'm just talking like Vision or something. But
yeah, well, I mean, apparently if you get the immersion editions, they have a lot of Roger Waters demos. He kind of does a Pete Townsend, like demoed everything.
Yeah, I guess.
And apparently if you listen to them, like, it's a bit shit.
But like, also, I guess like, it's different because neither of them really did much. They're actually probably a better collaboration in some ways, because neither of them really did anything good solo-wise.
No.
But like together they were great, whereas John and Paul, but they were younger, I guess, so when they broke up.
Yeah, I mean.
But yeah, Gilmour though, the thing is like, to me, his solos on like Animals and stuff, even though like it was mostly Waters material, his solos are kind of the songs on a lot of them.
I think that's what David Gilmour thinks.
Yeah.
I
think he might be right in some cases.
It's a little bit, though, of a kind of writing v playing. It's like more like kind of like, it's back to the like raw versus technical.
Words versus riffs.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, like, okay, from Nick Mason, from The Horse's Mouth. He plays in a band. He's got his own band called like Saucerful of Secrets. It's embarrassing. Imagine being in a Pink Floyd kind of covers band, but you're in Pink Floyd.
Right.
It's weird.
Well, that's what Lindsey Buckingham, I forgot to say last time, said about the new Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, they're a cover
band.
Yeah. He's trying to get back in, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's also throwing that kind of stuff out. It's not going to help.
The irony of the Roger Waters Gilmour situation is that, like, Roger wants back in, doesn't he? And Gilmour's like, I got the keys now, It's
all the same shit.
Yeah.
All this Beatles, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
It's all just greed, and they've money, and they don't get enough credit for being super famous.
No, it's ego, because it's not about money, because Roger Waters is worth about $300 million. He's got way more money than Gilmour, though. Way more than Gilmour.
No, I know, but that's what I mean. It was about money for Gilmour, because he wasn't getting enough credits on writing. Animals. That's how it started.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Animals is my favorite one, I think.
They're saying that's where it began. That's Richard Wright says that's where we didn't really feel like we were like included in the recording very
Richard
much.
Wright got stiff, didn't he? Because he wasn't
seems
even
very bitter.
Well, he's dead.
Yeah.
But I liked his instrument that was behind him. It's kind of like Egyptian, like oud or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I'm not too
balalaika or something.
Yeah, something but like a giant one.
Yeah, like a comedic sized one.
But they were talking about how, but like Gilmour went on to like, he like produced that first Kate Bush record, and like he did a lot of work.
Really?
Yeah, he discovered Kate Bush.
She looked fucking good, didn't she? Then
gorgeous.
Oh my god,
gorgeous.
Yeah.
He discovered her.
That red dress. Come on.
And
I think I did know that, actually. They're all posh. They're all tough. That's the thing about him. That like, he has that kind of Clapton-y accent. That kind of posh southern.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I think that what I was going to say is I think Gilmour's kind of a side man. like a bit. Like
Okay.
that's where he shines a bit.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe.
when he's there to support artists and do, I don't think he really wanted, but it's not like a slight. I don't think he really wanted to be like the lyricist, writer, frontman, everything. Like
he's kind of more of like the small. He was like, especially back in the day. I read a theory that the beef actually starts earlier, and the rivalry, the massive rivalry, is because Gilmour was like this, like, great looking, everyone loves him, brilliant guitar player, like nice voice, just kind of composed individual. And Roger Waters is like tall, lanky, weird looking, plays like kind of bass but not very well, and his voice is kind of unpleasant, has like major personal issues, and then like coupled with like a growing insistence that his voice be heard and his points be made constantly, that it might just come down to the fact that like Gilmour's just like a kind of cool, nice dude, and Roger's a bit of a buzzkill. Yeah. And like with McCartney and Lennon, although it works in a different way, it's like they just like people probably just like didn't want to hang out with Paul McCartney. He's just kind of a bit of a buzzkill eventually.
So now you're saying Paul's like the Roger Waters.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's all a bit flipped around and stuff, but just in the sense that it's like, he's isolating himself, and it's like from his band, and it's like it's telling with the Beatles that they all continued to hang out with each other. Yeah, after the Beatles broke up, it's like they're all
in that way, sure.
Yeah, and
I
like
see what you're saying.
Whereas like and obviously a similar sense with Fleetwood Mac too. But I think if one person calls you an asshole, like it might not be. It might be like a tension between two people. But if like all the other members in the band are like, well, we'll just, not going with him. I'll stay with Gilmour, and we'll just like at least jam, and it'll be mellow.
So what you're trying to say is that Roger Waters has all of the worst traits of both John Lennon and Paul McCartney.
Kind of mixed together. Yeah. Yeah.
He's got the like painful childhood upbringing that causes him to be like a prick to his bandmates. Yeah. But then he's also got the megalomania
the sort of like
that alienates him from everybody post band and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
I think so.
I gotcha.
But then at the same time, in the key question, like, which we just got asked actually, kind of ironically, which is why we're doing, well, not ironically, it's why we're doing, this episode here. This guy here, Nick Soriano, please settle this question no one's ever asked to anyone before. Waters or Gilmour? And this is from Nick. Actually, he just wrote, let me add the Mr. Payne. I bought a Shiloh CD in 2014 at Numos, and it still works in my pickup. Thanks a bunch. That's nice, eh?
Right on. Numos.
Yeah.
Nice.
Seattle. Great room. Upstairs, downstairs, where are you playing?
Downstairs, pretty sure.
Yeah.
That was with real estate.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice big room.
Uh-huh. Nice backstage there.
Yeah, downstairs.
Yeah.
Huge room down there, yeah.
Oh, that's the one. That's where it was. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no, because the other room, the other venue in there is called like Barbosa.
Yeah.
You'd have been playing upstairs with real estate. That would have been
Numos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. But yeah, like when it comes to the question of who is better.
Here's what I'll say. As much as I love David Gilmour's contributions to the group, his voice, his guitar playing, his solos are incendiary.
Yeah.
What really gets me, what really kind of gives me the chills when I listen to Pink Floyd are Waters' lyrics and songs and the darkness of it.
Yeah.
And, us and them, what's going on there, the universal message of a lot of it. Songs on the Wall like Nobody's Home. And these types of, really, really...
Wish You Were Here.
Yeah, really, really unique lyrics and
Walk on Pine
moments.
Award to a lead role in Cage. I mean, that stuff's...
Yeah.
He's been consistently at it. He's been pissed off the whole time.
Brain Damage, that kind of stuff.
Welcome to the Machine.
Shine On You Crazy Diamond, but that's a collab. That one I consider to be the perfect
combo.
collab. Perfect collab. Because it starts with like a 3-minute guitar solo that like just...
It's very good.
And then it's Waters comes in. Remember when you were young. It's so good,
Yeah, I'm going to listen to... I'm going to go on a bit of a Pink Floyd tear, I think. Just the big records.
It's interesting, though, how certain people, I guess, like Luke, not to kind of call him out here, but he wrote us the other day. He said, what's this Floyd stuff on all your lists?
Ranking, yeah.
Because he said, every time I throw on Pink Floyd, I never hear any music coming out of the speakers.
Yeah.
I thought about that statement for a while, and I was kind of like, yeah, I guess if you're kind of, to a certain kind of listener,
they're not Aerosmith.
Too much going on.
They're not Aerosmith.
Or not too much going on, but just like, it's not just like kind of songs. And
you got to kick back, throw on like Alice in Wonderland or whatever.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, and just fucking smoke a J and smoke a bowl.
From a guitar perspective, though, I'm a bit surprised.
Well, he's technical.
Yeah, Luke's less into the technical, besides Clapton, I guess.
But it's 90s Clapton. He probably, Luke probably likes like Division Bell. He'd probably really like that. Yeah. Because that's kind of like similar. It's kind of like got that like line 6 directly into a, into an ADAT machine kind of tone.
Some of Luke's tones, actually, that I've heard him play have a bit of a Gilmour feel, I got to say. Some like a big sustain.
Yeah, look at that. Listen, you can go for a bath.
Is
it bath or bite?
It's bite. You go for a bite.
I don't know if it's.
I don't know. You said that, and I'm like, maybe they don't say go for a bite in England, but I think they do.
I don't think a bite to eat.
Yeah.
It could be that moment in Spinal Tap that we've discovered where he gets the character wrong, he gets like the phrasing wrong or something.
Anyway, but I could kind of see that it's not party. If you're partying, there's where I'll go. Because, our friend Luke, he likes to party. If you're partying, you don't throw on Floyd. Ever.
No.
Unless it's maybe like 4 a.m. and everybody's
demented,
rolling a joint and you're like, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. But you're not cracking.
It's not party music.
Miller High Life. You're throwing on Back in the Saddle if you're doing that.
Yeah, Back in Black.
Sure. Yeah. Back in the USSR, maybe.
Maybe.
At my house, maybe. Yeah. Back to Black by Amy
Winehouse. Sure. Yeah, sure.
So I'll throw it on. Have a few.
Yeah, Backdoor Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw that on. If I was partying.
Back to the Future.
Back in the New York groove.
Yeah, 100%.
That's freely will go on any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fine for sure. Yeah, whereas you're not throwing on.
Back in Time by Huey Lewis and the News.
Okay, yeah, sure.
From Back to the Future.
Yeah. So a lot, like, that's a good playlist right there. Yeah.
Gotta get back in time. Bam, boom, bam, boom, ba-da-dum, bam, boom.
They were on a click. They were never not on time. They were like quantized.
Yeah, they definitely.
For sure. So yeah, like when it comes down to the big question, like Gilmour v. Waters, is it specific to like, if you're partying, who would you have there?
Gilmour.
Just because he's an easy hang?
Yeah.
If you wanted to get dark, though.
I wouldn't really want to jam with Waters.
I would love to jam with Gilmour, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like Nick Mason has the best gig.
Oh, just let me play drums and
go off.
You and me, I'll play drums, you play bass, just let him fucking solo.
Yeah.
Just boom.
Years of your life.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Years of your life go by with that.
I was thinking about that beat.
Yeah.
And like that maybe, I was thinking about this, that Neil Young and Pink Floyd do that beat the best. The boom.
What, the
boom,
like down by the river, Cowgirl in the Sand
exactly. Beat? Cowgirl in the Sand. And then I'm also, Out on the Weekend, but also Us and Them.
Yeah.
Breathe in the Air. Echoes.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Like because they both use it a lot. That kind of just slow 4/4 beat.
I remember where I first was when I heard Dark Side.
Me too.
Yeah. And I remember that the first song coming on and thinking it sounded like pretty like not good.
Whoa.
I just remember thinking it was like really, I don't know, I think because of it sounded like this prog, and then it kind of explodes, it takes a while. They take their time.
Not a singles group.
No.
Until The Wall. Then they put out a single. It's like their only single or something.
It's
None
pretty
of those
good bass
were
playing
singles.
on those records. Animals has got some great bass playing on it too.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think he's good at bass.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Good drama.
Can you imagine, like, being in a band with Syd Barrett, like David Gilmour? So you're like, you're his mate, because they were mates.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in a band with him, and he's going fucking mental.
Yeah.
Like, barely even comprehend what because he's just talking nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, even like his lyrics are like similarly. And like, you're watching that happen, and then like, you kind of like, okay, he's gone from the band. I know he didn't really play on those records, but he was about. It's kind of complicated. But this is stuff probably with Roger that pisses him off, because Gilmour like still plays Syd Barrett songs live as Pink Floyd, which feels kind of weird.
That's
right?
weird.
Yeah, like they do like Octopus and Dominoes live, but he says
but that's from the solo records.
Yeah, I know. So he says that he co-produced with Syd those songs, so he plays them live. Whereas I'm sure Roger Waters would be like, "Well, I produced it."
Well, like Madcap Laughs?
Yeah.
Was Gilmour involved in that?
Apparently he says he was, and so he plays it,
Interesting.
It's actually funny, because I was reading about, and because it's kind of funny that, like, David Gilmour can't write songs. Mm-hmm. Like, he's, like, never tried or something, so he gets his wife to do the lyrics now, and, like, he always needed Roger to, so, like, when the band stops, like, they just become kind of, like, instrumental mostly, other than the lyrics his wife writes, like, when he's like, can you just put something together quick? But he's talking about these Syd Barrett songs he does, and like Gilmour says that I always felt that like Syd was making it all up as he went along, like, because he never wrote anything down. It was actually probably similar to the way he was talking at the time, because like you'd struggle to get to grips with what he meant. It was like a lot of like gobbledygook, and it's like they meant something to him, but it was really hard. I mean, we've listened to those records. It is hard to really kind of decipher if there's any meaning there. And then at the end of this article, David Gilmour says, I think the word madcap doesn't even mean mad, like it means zany. But upon revisiting the master tapes, Gilmour said he found out that Barrett had said the mad cat laughs. So Gilmour's like, so I actually named the song wrongly when I produced it. And it made me think, one, that's crazy that's not news. Like, this whole album's called
Why
The
didn't
Mad...
Syd Barrett...
Because he was demented.
He didn't even care that the album was called that?
No.
Wow.
But also, it made me think, can David Gilmour maybe not read or write? Because he's never written lyrics. He doesn't even know what the name of his mate Syd's song's called. And maybe that's why he's so good. Maybe he's kind of fugue state autism. Like he's like really into guitar. It's like he focused there, and he's like, maybe he doesn't even know how to read or write. It could be that.
It's possible.
So he's got a poet wife to cover his tracks. Because he's very good at music.
Could also explain like the dispute with the liner notes.
He just couldn't read it.
He's like, I'm not signing off on this because I can't read it.
But he can't. It's like The Reader, the movie. He's been hiding it for years.
Yeah.
I'm not signing off on this.
I won't sign off on that. They're like in the room, and he's like, I can't do it.
No, I'm not signing off.
Also, I can't sign anything. So.
Exactly. And then he just like kind of sort of diffuses the situation with like a really good bend, like on his nines.
If you can play guitar like that, you don't need to read or write, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you think he's the top bender of all time? Van Halen, I suppose.
I think that his solos are the most songy, melodic of anyone. Like Neil, obviously, they're incredible and they're my favorite. But I think Gilmour's, they feel like I don't need singing.
Yeah.
The guitar's doing the singing.
Yeah. That's a bit Spinal Tap, that, isn't it, though?
Totally.
But yeah, you imagine you're in a band with Syd and he's losing his mind. And it'd be exhausting, like watching your like lead singer and you sort of like lose his mind. And you're like, what are we going to do from now? And then like, you sort of sort it out. And like, whoa, it's bigger than ever. But like Roger Waters is the guy in your band now who's like taking on that role. Like Gilmour must be exhausted. It must have been exhausting being in that band because he seems just like a normal person.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about how that all went down. Like, yeah, I don't know about the transition when Rogers kind of, or I keep saying Rogers, I'm thinking like Paul Rogers or something.
Great singer.
Yeah.
Like he's traditionally the best one, isn't he? Best rock singer.
Yeah. He would have been good in Floyd.
Would have been a different kind of band. Let's see what Ranker says.
I would love to hear him sing Welcome to the Machine.
He'd do a really good job.
You checking out singers?
Top male rock singers of all time,
singers. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hang on.
The Ranker crowd.
The S people have heard that now. That's astonishing.
Was that Roger Waters just trying, like, that was when he was like, I'm taking the band, right? Like,
what, 85?
When Sid Barrett, no.
Oh.
Like,
well, no, because Gilmour came in, didn't he?
Yeah,
then?
I know, but I think that Roger Waters sort of felt like he needed to take control for it to keep going, right? Or something? I don't know enough about that.
This is interesting. Where's Paul Rogers, man? I mean, he's traditionally number one in this list. He's not even in the top 30.
Roger, who?
Paul Rogers.
No, not for the Ranker. I'm starting to learn this Ranker crowd thing.
Okay.
It's going to be Mick Jagger, number one.
No, okay, so Paul Rogers is 50 in this list, which seems weird. He's also 7 in every member of Queen ranked best to worst. Because I guess he played in Queen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he could have a go at it. He's one of those guys, right?
Yeah.
He'd have a go at like Freddie.
Uh-huh.
Freddie's number one.
Oh, of course. Fuck, Freddie, I forgot.
But that's because they have completely...
Queen's number
Queen
one.
in everything.
If it's music and they're eligible, they're number one on Ranker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jagger's number 2?
No, because it's singers.
Oh, Plant.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3, like, I feel like it's like Roger Daltrey or something.
I don't know, because he's not a singer, is he?
Well, no, but I'm thinking Ranker, it's hard. Okay.
Steve Perry. It's just that Don't Stop Believing vocal, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
It's kind of doing like a Sam Cooke.
Jagger, does he make the top 5?
Stevie Nicks is at 4. Bowie at 5, interesting.
Interesting.
Ann Wilson, 6.
Is Elton John on there?
He's at 9.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell's at 7. That's
above Jagger?
He's above McCartney.
Yeah, but Jagger's like the quintessential rock
frontman. I bet he's above.
Not above Freddie.
You ready, Freddie?
They're eligible.
Frontman, he'd be 2.
Jagger, yeah, it's gotta be.
Freddie Jagger.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler's at 10. I feel like he's been a bit unlucky.
Jagger's not in the top 10.
No, he's not a singer.
What do you mean he's not a singer? What is that?
He's a performer.
What?
He's number 31.
What?
Paul Simon's 30. John Bon Jovi's up there.
This is like technically.
Yeah. Of course it is.
Oh my God.
It's technique.
Well, McCartney.
Range.
McCartney should be top 10.
Technically.
That's what I mean. I
but I mean,
so.
He's not. Okay, let's do it for frontman. Top frontman.
Jagger's. He's a good singer. What is this? Yeah, I see what you mean, though.
It kind of tracks.
What about Axl, dude?
He was like 20.
Wow. I would have thought technically he's got the biggest range.
Well, he has the biggest range. Everyone knows that.
Wouldn't that be?
There's a lot of things that go into it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got the. I'm sorry to. This is the podcast now, so people are just gonna have to.
Waters was on there like number 40 or something.
Number 50. So now I'm on to. Top 10 lead singers. No, best. Now I'm in best frontmen in rock.
Okay.
Freddie's number 1.
Of course.
Plant 2, Jagger 3.
No, that's not right.
Jim 4.
Jim, yeah.
I mean, I can see. You gotta have.
And I could see Jim not making the top 10 singers too.
Yeah, he's not exactly.
No, now I get it, kind of. But I don't think that. I think they did Jagger wrong on that. He should be top 20 for sure on singers.
I guess.
Frontmen.
Interesting. I mean, it's very contentious.
Iggy Pop?
Ranker crowd, bro.
Oh, yeah. Shit. I always forget the Ranker crowd thing.
You could call Bleeker up. He's still in town. He'd tell us front to back who's involved in this.
Should I call him?
Yeah, try out. See if he answers.
Okay.
Ask him if he can name the top 5 frontmen.
I'll call him right now.
Seems important. Do you think he'll answer?
Probably.
Hello?
Hey, Bleeker, it's Johnny. You're live on Impossible Way of Life podcast.
I'm live right now?
Yeah, you're live on the air. We got a question for you. We're on ranker.com here, and we've got the top front men.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling here because I'm saying all kinds of, and James is like, don't forget the ranker crowd. You know what I mean? So we're like, let's just call it Bleeker. He'll tell us. What's the top 5?
I think top 3 gotta be, I don't know, I'm having trouble, perceiving exactly who number 1 is for the ranker crowd. But, I mean, we know Freddie Mercury's in there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a given, right?
Yeah.
We know Axl Rose has got to be in there.
In the top 3?
Not in the top 3. No.
Okay. Because now it's like Mick's in there.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger, Freddie Mercury. I really want to say Steven Tyler or something, but that
Number 6.
right.
Number 6.
Yeah. And Axl is in the top 10. But not in the
Top
3.
20.
No, he's in the top 20.
So we got 3. It's like it feels like something stupid like Jimi Hendrix or something. Plant, Robert Plant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks,
number two. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell him that this is where we'll sign off to.
Okay.
Number 9, Dave Grohl.
Number 9, Dave Grohl.
Number 9, I'm all about the number 9 crowd.
I'm surprised you didn't get Dave Grohl. That would have blown me away if you.
Number 9. Well, Dave Grohl just won MTV's first ever International Icon Award or something like that.
Well, we could do. We'll do a whole hour on that. Okay.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you. I'll call you in a bit.
Okay. If you like what you
Thanks a
heard
lot.
on the podcast here, subscribe to our Patreon / Impossible Way of Life or An Impossible Way of Life. I can't remember, but you'll find it. And, this is episode 101. So we've been doing this a year now. Appreciate everyone who's been around for it. And we're just getting going.
And if anybody wants to go on and do like a ranker top current podcast and put us number 1, that'd be great.
Appreciate that. Bye-bye.